In the sky!
This can't be!
No way.
Hello and welcome back to VGC. You're watching our review of Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition on Nintendo Switch. This review was initially written by Matthew Castle and transcribed for video purposes by me, Steven McInerney.
If we could just unlock the Monado's power. It's my turn!
It may seem odd that Nintendo's revisiting Xenoblade Chronicles, given that it's a game all about looking to the future. At the tale's heart is the Monado, a hefty lump of a sword that allows its wielder, Shulk, to view glimpses of events to come. It both powers the story as our heroes struggle against its dire predictions, and it also doubles as a cool combat hook as it warns you of incoming death blows and gives you a few seconds to trigger a shield or speed boost to alter your fate. But just as our warriors prove tomorrow needn't be set in stone, this handsome Switch remaster shows that yesterday can be changed for the better too. Released in 2010 for the Wii, Xenoblade Chronicles got around technical limitations with sheer scale and ambition. It distracted from the rougher details with the neck-craning height of its valleys and waterfalls that make Niagara look like a garden pond. Its impact was never in question. What the Switch Remastered does is bring everything into focus. Sharper textures, a cleaner interface and redrawn characters give the impression of a massively revamped world, where direct comparison reveals most of this was here, just lost in CRT fuzz. Resolution is still something Xenoblade battles with though. It dynamically shifts to smooth, busier action, and quite visibly so in heated moments. It's like developing cataracts every time you get excited. If you played Switch sequel Xenoblade Chronicles 2, you'll recognise the haziness in portable play, and as bosses get bigger and moves get flashier, it can still chug in handheld and docked. Less so than its Wii or new 3DS versions, but it's still impressive that Nintendo's yet to find a machine capable of taming their virtual titans.
The future I see, it isn't set.
That none of this really matters speaks to the underlying brilliance of Monolith Soft's world building and the game's natural fit for Switch. This is my third Xenoblade rodeo, and Gawa playing still gives me the chills. This is every bit the meaty RPG that can fill a TV for day-long binges, but outside of a few long cutscenes, it can also be nibbled at in portable play. No other JRPG has nailed the balance of linear story and open-world exploration quite so well. Each region is stuffed with unique monsters, side quests and entire areas you won't uncover until you return with a character powerful enough to fight through to them. Side activities are also much improved in Definitive Edition. Relevant items and monsters are now marked on the map, and a breadcrumb trail shows a route to objectives, a godsend in some of the knottier dungeon areas. One of Xenoblade's greatest strengths was how accommodating it was. You can instantly teleport to any location in the world, can flick day to night with a button press, and death simply drops you at a nearby landmark with all your items and XP intact. A friendlier map fixes one of the few things it didn't get right. To counter any claims that it now nannies adventurers, a new expert difficulty slows leveling by banking XP earned from side quests or location discovery to be applied manually at a later point. Think of it as a riff on the in-leveling in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It basically prevents characters from over-leveling and steamrolling the story, which is easy to do given how many activities are in the world. It lets you level down heroes too to help you to rediscover the combat spite should you surpass it. It's a neat solution. Combat is unchanged but clearer. You control one member of a party of 3, auto-attacking and unleashing combat arts on cooldown timers. What initially looks simple quickly blossoms. Some arts reward positioning and others stack to topple and daze bigger foes. Performing the former power-ups chain attacks, where you take control of other party members to manually deliver your dream combos with the latter. On Switch, all these moves are now marked when you're in place or a combo is ready. It's just so much smoother to play. A new time trial mode is also an inspired touch. Found through portals, these battles are a great place to discover the power of new party combinations. One of the most underrated features of Xenoblade is how differently each hero handles in battle. Our default star Shulk may get Monado powers, but shifting to Sharla, a healer who has to manage her gun's heat, or Dunban with his time button press combos reveals whole new rhythms and tricks to learn, tricks that quickly emerge as you try to skim off seconds to win bonus items. Given the strength of the cast both on Battlefield and in cutscenes, the one misstep in Definitive Edition is focusing a new epilogue chapter on just 2 of them. Called Future Connected, this 10-hour adventure takes us to a new bit of Bionis, a huge shoulder blade with more than a hint of Gawa playing about it, and deals with Shulk and Melia trying to turf out a squatter from her former home. Maybe there are some big Melia fans out there. After all, you read the news and the world is full of wrong-uns. But short of making the story about Ricky, a terrible Ewok type thing, I can't think of a character I care about less. Your mileage may of course vary. Perhaps it's a case of expecting too much. With a name like Future Connected, there were rumblings that it might connect Xenoblade 1 and 2 together more explicitly, or set up an obvious Xenoblade 3, but after salivating for a weapons-grade fan service, it unfolds as an inconsequential chapter in the history of Bionis. Yes, a few new memories, replacing heart-to-hearts, see our heroes chatting about old friends and adventures, but this only emphasises their absence. When you find yourself missing the gormless battle cry of "It's rain time," you know something has gone very wrong indeed. The chapter is not without its charms though. There's a bizarre side quest to rescue a band of no-pin prospectors, the aforementioned terrible Ewok type things, that sees each rescued fuzzball join a conga line behind you and contribute special attacks in battle. And by the end of the chapter, where you have an army of the things following you over cliff ledges like gormless lemmings, it does become pretty funny. Removing chain attacks to accommodate their daft special moves does make you hanker for the smarts of the main campaign, although completing Future Connected does then unlock a few extras to discover in that earlier story. Future Connected also earns its place with an absolutely banging jazz-infused battle theme that wouldn't be out of place in Persona. In fact, Xenoblade Chronicles' entire soundtrack is the stuff of legends, composed by a JRPG supergroup including Yasunori Chrono Trigger Mitsuda and Yoko just about every other RPG ever, Shimomura. For many fans, the reorchestrated music will be worth the price of admission. And as mentioned in an earlier preview, my wife actually leaves the room as she thinks the new music constitutes a spoiler, and having heard how great each new track sounds, she's probably right, it's a killer makeover. As a side note, I do think they butchered one track. They've changed the singing in Engage the Enemy to an opera singer, and it's terrible. But I do realise this is a niche complaint and it hasn't factored into the final score. That Xenoblade Chronicles has a fanbase that can lose their minds over some extra trumpets speaks to the passion this game instills. It probably explains why this is the third release in 10 years. Think of all the Nintendo legends that don't get a second shot. And short of a complete Final Fantasy VII Remake do-over, it's hard to see what else there is for Monolith Soft to tweak and polish. For returning fans, it's a love letter to one of the best JRPGs of the last 20 years, and for newcomers, the start of that love affair. Whatever the future holds for Xenoblade, its past has never been easier to appreciate. Thanks guys for watching our review of Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. Do let us know down in the comments what you make of this game, and also go and check out our review of Minecraft Dungeons that we posted yesterday. For now, make sure to hit that subscribe button, drop this video a like, and we'll see you tomorrow for another video.